Hi everyone, good morning. I'm Miguel Celis. Thanks for being here. This is our advanced training of Manager One. I'm happy to share with you all this content we prepare in the last 2 weeks. We have the first training was the Manager One, the basic training, and now it's time to do the Manager One advanced training. We have a very rich content for all of you. Please let me know where are you watching us. If you already have participated of any of our training, you already know how our training works. If you have any doubt or question, please feel free to ask to in our chat in order to achieve the goal of this training, that is to make you understand and take all the advantage of our solution. So um, I'm going to start with the content. How I said before, thanks for coming. If you are already subscribed to this channel, you can activate the notify. If you are not subscribed, you can subscribe now in order to receive the notifications of all content that we have for you. Okay, let's start with the content. This is, how I said before, this is our advanced training of Manager One. Is our second training. This will be a series of three trainings. The first one was the focus in the features of our flow of our manager, and now we have one content more focus in how can you improve all your contact center solution or infrastructure in order to take everything you can do with this advanced tool that is the Manager One. So we are going to, this will be the training content, will be any of our subjects here in our training today. We are going to do an architecture overview. We have some changes in our last version. We are going to talk about media Unix. This is something new. If you already had a flow, you will see that we have some architecture changes in this with these media units. We are going to talk about routing. We already talked about routing in our last training. We do some basic training using regular expressions and doing the normal routing system that we already have in our flow. Today we are going to focus in advanced routing. You will see that flow is very powerful when you have these scenarios that maybe our standard routing system is not enough to customize what you need. So you will see that how the flow can adapt to these customized scenarios very well. We are going to talk about databases, how you can connect our flow to databases, how can you query the databases, how can you write in the databases, and how can you take decisions with these queries results. We're going to talk about call and mission control. This is a very good feature for control the simultaneous calls in our flow in order to protect our system of overloads or for not having enough control about how many concurrent calls you have in your system. We're going to talk about MOS. This is straight directly related with audio quality. This is a very important feature that we gained in some months ago. And we're going to talk about ZipRec and how can you connect to these recorders that you will find in the market that use this protocol. Right now is the standard for recording protocols, and we are going to see how Flow implements this protocol in our solution. Okay, let's talk about architecture media units. I'm going to invite to all of you, if you want to, all the content we are going to work today, if you want to download the slides, you feel free to do it. You have to scan this QR code, and then you will get a formulario, a form, in order to download the slides. I'm going back to the slides right now, and then we are going to talk about architecture media Unix. Okay, this is our standard architecture, our standard scenario. We'll have, if you already have a flow in your system, in your contact center, maybe this is the common scenario you will find in your solution. This is the flow here. This is our SIP server, is going to do all the routing, he's going to process all the signaling and all the RTP, the media. In order to, this is optional, the analytics, our answer machine detection is going to use that RTP to do the classification, the call classification. And the flow will connect with the Insight, that is our business intelligence solution that is completely in cloud, and he is going to feed with information the Insight in order to Insight do the post-processing and show you in a dashboard everything is happening with your KPIs in your contact center. So you will find it's a really complete dashboard with all the most important KPIs of your contact center in real time. So it's very normal to find this scenario. You will have different void engines like dialers, PBXs, IVRs, automatic call dialers. So you will have something like this. You will have different void engines. You will have the flow in the middle, and the flow will connect with gateways and with SVCs that could be obviously could be everything is SIP, could be from KHOMP, but maybe from other third-party vendor. There is no problem. The only thing you have to know that have to speak in a compatible protocol with our flow as SIP. Okay, so in this scenario, you can set in the elements, you can do a smart routing, you can centralize the management, you can debug all the network, you can have only one call progress detection system or answer machine detection system. You will only need analytics. You will have high availability, but in this scenario only you can handle G711 as a main codec. It's the only codec you can use. This is like the classic scenario. In versions, in newer versions, you can have something like this. This is it's almost the same, but if you see, you will have some difference that is these media units, and these media units will let you to divide all the computational effort of media processing with more than one machine. So, for example, you have the same, all the signaling of these dialers we speak, they are going to speak SIP with the flow, but all the RTP is going to be balanced between the media Unix, and the media Unix function is specifically do things like analytics and transcoding. So the flow is going to take charge of the SIP signaling, the SIP protocol. Okay, so only signaling, void element interact with flow, no media, no RTP. With this scenario, you can, with this architecture, you can set in the elements, smart routing, centralized management, one debugging tool, one MD system, everything will work exactly the same as the classical or standard scenario, but you can handle up to 40,000 sessions. So this is really important because it's like, okay, if you want to scale your platform, this is the way we can achieve these kind of numbers using media units. And right now, media units, if you have a project with this kind of requirements, you will need to use our implementation team in order to put media units work. But in the next versions, we are going to let it available for any of you install all the scenario in this architecture. Okay, and it's perfect. This kind of divided scenario is perfect for cloud scenarios because sometimes you only want to put a flow in the cloud, but you can you want to you don't want to send the RTP to this cloud. You only want to send the signaling, and you can install a local media unit in order to do this task as said before. So I'm going to explain a little more. How can I configure the media units? It's very simple. Once you install the media Unix is a server. Is very close in installation to the flow. It's very close. It's almost the same, but they have a special configuration in order to put it in this media unit mode. And then now in the flow, you are going to put the name of the media unit, the IP address, and the number of concurrent calls or simultaneous calls. So you can, depends on your hardware, you will define how many calls will process this media unit. And this media unit is going to be, has to be interacting with the networks which these network segments that has connection with the void engines or with the void elements you want to share RTP. This, what we are doing here, is going to result in an internal route to these two networks. So when I say it's very important to read what we have here. It's not possible to create a route whose NAPS RTP interfaces use different media units. NAPS is network access points, how we saw before in our first training, must have at least one media unit in common. It is very important to that RTP addresses used by the media unit can reach the NAP IPs of origin and destination of the code, so that communication can take place. This is very important. You can have you have to assign in the NAP a media unit. If you have two NAPs and these two NAPs have to talk each other, you have to put it in the same media unit. So this is very important in order to receive the RTP between them. So we have here like the NAP settings. This is how we configure the NAP. I'll teach you in the last training how to configure an app, a basic NAP, and the difference is the RTP. When you say, okay, the RTP, the RTP network, the interface is going to be the media unit that you reserve for that. So This is very important. And now with this architecture, using media units, you can use customized profiles which with preferred codecs, so you can handle more codecs than G711. For example, you will have G722 or Opus that normally you can handle in the classic architecture. Okay, you can see the media units status in our menu of monitoring menu. You can click in monitoring and you can click to system, and you will see if the media units are online or not. For example, you can see here connected, on, off. You can see the address and the port of the server, and you can see the number of channel available, and of course the media network addresses, the network addresses that supposed to handle this media unit. This is very useful once you want to see if you have a problem. If you want to see, okay, let me see if the media unit is okay, if I can my network could connect with that network. So this is a very simple way to see the status of the media unit. Okay, let me know if you have any question about media units. This is something I think is very new, something that we gained in our last versions like 2 or 3 months ago. So if you have any doubt or you want to know a little more about media units, I can improve this information, and I can put more. I can try to answer your question, but of course I have all the backup of my developers. So if you have any question, we are going to pass to our team. Okay, I'm going to say hi to some people that are here in our chat. Let me just change the screen. We have Victor Obando. Victor, thanks for coming to our training. Igor Silva. Igor is part of KHOMP, is our sales manager, is for international markets. Thanks, Igor, to be here. Igor is the person that if you have any commercial doubt or of any self question or doubt, Igor is the person that will help you with this kind of doubts. Okay, Eduardo Milan. Hi everyone. Hi Eduardo. Thanks for coming. Okay, we have people from Colombia, from Medellin, Sapia. Thanks to be here. Good friends from KHOMP. Jimmy Valerio também. Jimmy, muito. Okay, we have Jimmy. Thanks for coming, Jimmy. So, a lot of people from Latin America. We are doing. We have some partners listening this training in other English-speaking country. I hope I'm trying to do my best. My best to pass all this technical training. So let's continue with the slides. I'm going to talk now about SIP types. We have different types of licenses. This is very short but very important to if you need to. Flow is not recommended to be in a border because it's not an SBC. Is another kind of SIP server. But if you need to do some NAT tags, the Flow can handle that with some licenses, some special licenses. So you can use our SIP-tron license, and then as you see here in the image, in this figure, you will find like, okay, this is a network and this one is a different network. So if you want to make one of these elements speak with this element, you will need a special SIP trunk. So in that way, the flow is going to do all these NAT tasks in order to communicate this to different networks. If your communication is in the same network, for example, if you have an SBC and a dialer at the same network, in the same network, you can use only the SIP call license. You don't need another license different than that. But take care, because it's very important to know that if you need analytics, normally you will need this SIP trunk license. Okay, it's very simple, it's very short. And now we are going to talk about scenarios and examples about advanced routing. That is the main content of this training. I want to thanks to our dev team, because they help us to understand and to find a way to pass all this information in a very simple way. We're going to check some examples, and we're going to explain really well what is these advanced routing methods and why we need this kind of tools in our flow. Okay, this is a normal interaction in a contact center. You will have something. Once you have your flow in your network, you will have something like this. This is a flow, and this flow is going to speak directly with the dialers. Could be we're not speaking about this architecture, this new architecture with media units, but this is the classical way we saw the flow. So if you have here different dialers, and you have different gateways and SVCs whose they connect you to the carriers, to the public telephone network. So you have two different kind of operations of depends on which is going the call. For example, if you are starting the call with in the dialers and going to the PSTN, this is considered as an outbound contact center operation, because this campaign is going out. The calls are going out, are going to the PSTN. So when your calls are coming from the PSTN to your dialers, to your campaigns, to inbound campaigns, this is considered as an inbound contact center operation. In this is a very normal way to see a contact center, depending on which side you receive the calls. So if you think about in a standard route, is there a very minimal way to do a routing? You will need this part. Okay, you need to know which ones are your origin naps, which elements are going to be your destination naps, and will be the conditions for caller and caller number, and you need to assign different priorities to your network, to your routes, in order to select which one are going to be analyzed first than others. Which one will have the priority. So origin naps in here at KHOMP, if you already have a KMG or UNG or a virtual SVC or a flow, you will see that we don't have these of inbound routes or outbound routes. For us, everything is a route, and you will define which behavior will have this route. And how we do that? We have to analyze, okay, where I'm receiving the call. For example, if you are receiving the call from an SVC that is connected to a PSTN carrier, this will be considering as the origin NAP, and then you will have a motor, a VoIP engine receiving the call. And that VoIP engine could be a PBX or could be a dialer. So indeed, in these cases, you will see, okay, this is an inbound campaign, and my origin network, my origin NAP will be an SVC, a gateway, and my destination will be my VoIP engine. So you have to take care in this scenario, the origin NAP is the SVC. If you have an outbound contact center or an outbound campaign, you will have the origin NAP will be the dialer or the PBX in that case, in that scenario, and your destination NAP will be the element who connects you to the PSTN. Could be an SVC or could be a gateway. Okay, you have to analyze very well in order to create your route. Destination NAP is the same. You have to analyze, okay, which element is going to receive the call to send it to somewhere else. So in outbound, destination NAPs are RVCs, and in inbound, destination NAP normally are VoIP engines. But you have to take care about collect number conditions. This is normally known as a dial plan, could be dial plan. Okay, I have a dial plan. This is how the flow will receive that call from the origin number, from the origin NAP, sorry. So the way we describe this in our routing system is using regular expressions. It's very useful, it's very powerful, is common to other languages of programming languages. So many people understand about regular expressions, but in our first training we talk about regular expression. If you want to check, we have a lot of content here in our channel, even in Spanish or in Portuguese, talking about regular expressions. All our platforms and solution, UNG, KMG, Virtual SVC, use the same system, but it's very powerful. So we standardize this kind of method to describe these conditions of the dial plan. In this condition, in this expression, this regular expression applies to collect numbers and to caller numbers too. So you will find that you can describe the caller number with the same logic. So for example, okay, I want to let a specific range of numbers to do some specific the access to some specific dialing plan, for example, for international calls or for mobile calls. So you can program and describe the logic of the caller number two. Then when the route will be evaluated, we will be evaluated the both of these conditions. Okay, and how I said before, priority depends in the order in which you want to be analyzed the routes. So maybe you have the same origin NAP and you have the same conditions for call it and caller number, but a different priority. Then what our routing compiler is going to check first will be the one who in the priority field will be close to 0. So if you put in a priority in a route, I'm going to show you here, if you put in a route, you put 0 here, this will be the highest priority. No matter if you put the same origin NAP here and the same conditions, obviously you will have to decide a different NAP. So this is very important. Or maybe the same NAP. Maybe you are changing the way you are handling the call, but it's very useful to use something like a failover route. So failover route in this scenario priority is very common to use as a failover route, describing which one is going to be first. For example, you have a SIP-tron that give you a very cheap calls for mobile in Mexico. So do you prefer always this will be the priority, but this SIP-tron only have 10 channels? Then when the SIP-tron returns to you as a hangout cost, to returns to you are no circuits available. So then the routing system will try to find another row with the same origin app, with the same condition of color, of collect number, and the collect number too, and then is going to match. If this do the match, is going to reroute the call, and everything is going to be here. The difference is going to be here in the priority. Okay, this is very useful. Okay, but this is a very basic way to route the calls. This is like, okay, Miguel, that is the same you speak about in the last training, but we have now, and is what we want here in this new training is show you another useful tool you have in our flow in order to make it more customizable. So to adapt our flow to your reality, your scenario. So we are using these Lua scripts. Lua is a Brazilian programming language. Is very famous. It's like it's 28 years old this year. It's very famous for being a lightweight, high level in multi-paradigm programming language. So you will find in internet so many different frameworks and platforms that use this programming language because it's not a real programming language. Like, okay, you are going to write a complete program or a complete application here. No, but it's a very good way to customize some applications that have this support to read and to do more advanced behaviors using Lua as a programming language for scripts. Then I saw in so many platforms that use Lua to run some scripts. So what I'm going to show you is very basic in terms of what a developer are used to, but maybe if you are not related with the developing program languages, you are going to find maybe could be some a little confused, but I will try to let you know with the samples how can you use all of this. So for example, we have different kind of routing scripts. It's something that we define here in Flow. Okay, which time you are going to execute this routing. So for example, if you have 4 different basic functions within the script. The first one is pre-routing. The pre-routing happens before routing. This function is calling when the call arrives at flow and a source snap is allocated. Okay, the flow receives the call. The flow, all this security mechanism is going to be activated in order to know if the origin app is okay. This is an element that could speak with our SIP system. Once this is completely approved, the app is recognized as a valid SIP element. He is going to execute the routing in order to drop or to accept the call. So we're going to talk about more examples how to use this later, but take in mind this is one of our kind of function. This is pre-routing. Okay, post-routing. These post-routing scripts are the ones who will be executed once you define which route are going to take that call. You validate it. Okay, it's valid. I this call make a match with a route, but I'm still I'm holding the call. I'm not sending to the app, to the destination app. And then I'm going to process this script. We're going to run the script. We'll do everything that is in the script. And then after this, we are going to send the call to the destination app. We have another kind of advanced routing scripts that is the transfer. This is nothing. This is not common to us. It's like it's something that happens when a transfer. Okay, the flow is not going to complete the call. Is going to transfer the call to do a re-invite to some other element in your network who speaks zip. So it's not a common script. We don't have so many examples of this, but we thought about, okay, we have to implement something like that, because in some scenario maybe our customers want to send a call to another element and just say, okay, I'm going to send the call and I'm going to execute some scripts to put something in somewhere to register that call comes to me, and then I transfer to some element away. Okay, this is something that could happen. It's not common, but could happen. So we implement this transfer routing script. And the last one is the post call. In the post call, this happens at the end of the call after the call is disconnected. Once the call is complete, so we can run a specific routing script in order to close the channels, and could be a register of the status of the call somewhere else too. So this is our 4 basic functions. You have to take care. This is something that is related with our design, and you can use all these 4 functions in order to program and customize your own behavior, the behavior of your own platform system. Okay, so here is our first example. It's a very simple example. If you see here, this is a list of number. This is an array, and is all of this is in the rejected variable. So we have different numbers, and then we are going to reject this number. For example, if you need in your contact center, you need that some special numbers that could be like the government number, or some people who you are not allowed to call, and you don't want you want to do a double check. For example, you have a database, your list of numbers in your campaigns, but maybe you are not 100% sure that maybe you will have in that list, you have one of these numbers that you can't call. So you want to do a double check. Okay, the flow is going to process the call, and is going to, before to send the call to the SVC or to the gateway, is going to do a double check in order to be sure that that number that I can't call won't be called. So this is a very simple way to do that. You can put all the numbers you don't need to you can't call here as a list, and then you can use a function as pre-routing. So we can use like if rejected, get value, origin address, then return false. This is going to find this origin address part of the call is going to be in the zip. Is a parameter that we define in CDR, and then I'm going to show you after what can you use in your routing script. This is something very easy. You will find it in our flow, and you can see what can you use in as a values, as a parameters for check, or for using your logic expressions, or to use all your logic. So if that number, the origin address, is found in this rejected, he's going to return false. If false means drop the call. Everything you do in a function, in all of these four functions, who returns as a false is going to be a drop call, especially in pre-routing. In pre-routing is going to be a drop call. So if this number is going to be valid, appears as in this list, this call is going to be drop. Okay. Okay, we have a different kind of roads that of the script. Sorry, how I said before, we have a post routing function, and this we are going to use some lists, will be the same, but in this script we are going to do some masking number. For example, you have a ziptron, you have something like a outbound calling operation contact center. This one who charge people. For example, you have a debt in a bank, and then the bank sell this list of people who have this debt to the bank, to a contact center, in order to this contact center calls and contact that people and make it they pay the debt. So this is very common, this kind of contact center. So the people knows the pile-up numbers of the ziptrons or the E1s. So many people block in our sorry, it's a common function of our Android or iPhone. You can drop calls and block calls from specific numbers. So if you have one of these contact centers with a strong that you have been used for years, in some moment you are going to lose this contacting, your contacting numbers is going down. It's like, okay, you are not achieving to speak with no one because the people are blocking these numbers. So for this, for a solution for this is to contract a ziptron provider, a carrier, that give you the option to modify the from in the zip header. So you can do an alteration. Okay, I want to change the number that this customer, this person is receiving as an origin number, as a from number. So the way to do that is some carriers give you, okay, I'm going to give you 20 different numbers, so you can call that. You can use one of these numbers as your from, and then you can change this, and then the person is not going to receive all time the same number. He's going to see in the caller ID, he's going to see different numbers from a range of number. And the way we do it is, okay, you can define a complete list of numbers, of caller number, and then we are going to use in a random way. Okay, in this part we are going to verify if the number has at least 10 numbers. You have more than 10 numbers, and we are going to set value. We are going to do a random select, match random from any of these numbers that are here. He's going to select a number, and then he's going to, the pre-routing is by default as true. So we are not doing any verification here in our pre-routing system. It's like, okay, everything is fine. I'm going to, if our routing compiler says that the nav is okay, he's going forward with the call, and then once they located the route, he's going to run this script, and he's going to change the front of that call. And how they change the call? Changing this leg bay origin address. This is the origin address that you are going to send to the carrier, or the SVC, or the gateway in that case. But this is going to happen after we select the route, and that way you can, every time you make to run a call, you are going to select a different number, because this is random selected. So you will have a different caller ID number. So the person couldn't hypothetically, the person couldn't handle 20 or 100 different from numbers. Okay, this is a very good way to improve your contactability in order to try to avoid this loss of contactability that happens with the time. I don't know if you have any question about these two kinds of routing scripts. Please let us know here in our chat. I will be very attentive to see your question, and try to answer whatever is your doubt. Thanks again for being here, for participating with us in our training. Okay, we have a different kind of post routing. It's a kind of post routing, but is more complex, because this involves that all the logic is not in the script. Maybe you have some system in your network that acts as a web services, so you are going to send some information to that web services, and the web service is going back with a false or a true, in order to drop the call or to accept the call. So in that specific case, the post routing is going only to send a response. Is going to, as a response to a URL, as you see here. You have the HTTP get JSON. So you are going to put this URL, and then if the response code is 200, that means that you found a web service in that URL. Your response data will be to send this JSON decode response body, and the response data is going to be, and then you have a condition. Okay, if this is false, then return true. This script is made to see if you try to contact a person the same day. For some countries, it's not possible to contact a person 2 times at the same day. You have to take some time. Okay, I can call you tomorrow, but not the same time, because this will be considered as a very aggressive contact, or yeah, it's not a good is not a good receive by the people. It's like people don't want to be called more than once in one day. So this is a very good way to check. Okay, the person was already called today, so I'm going to return false, or wasn't called today is false. Then the function post routing is going to return true, because that person wasn't calling that day. So that true is going to forward the call to the destination app in order to complete the call. So this is another kind of post routing. We are accessing to a web service via this requirement. That's something that could, depending on the logic you put here in your web services, is a very powerful way to improve your customization of your routing. And then you have another type of another kind of post of routing scripts, that is the post call function. The post call function will let you to execute the script after the call is completed. So what's going to happen here is that once the call is completely wrote, the call was connected, the people speak, and they decide, one of the side decide to close the call. Then after that, the flow is going to run this script. And then in this example, we are going to send some data to a web service, and this is the way this is like a formatting the JSON, and then you are going to send this data to a web service. So it's a very simple way to send data. Could be this web service could feed a database or something. So you are going to register this information. In this case, is campaign, customer, hangout cost, and hangout origin. Okay. So, and now we saw all the three main routing script types that we have in our flow. I didn't put an example of the transfer function, but could work exactly like this one. You have something like post call, exactly the same with transfer. Okay, I'm going to transfer the call, and I'm going to feed some web services with some of the data of the call I receive. I didn't process the call, but I received the call, and then I transfer to another element. Okay, you can put some information and put it in a database or put it in a web services. Okay, and then let me show you how can you use this. I'm going to show you in the real things. Like let me close here. I'm going to open. We are going to open here. Just give me a minute. Oops. I'm having some problem with my machine. Is freeze. Freeze my machine, freeze. Okay. I think I'm going to let me change it. I didn't know what happened, but let me change here. If I can find to recover my quit my laptop, or maybe I need to reboot my equipment. I think I'm going to reboot here. Okay. While my laptop is rebooting, I'm going to read some of your messages. Aaron Hernandez from Monterrey, Mexico. Aaron, thanks to be here. Thank you to participate with us. Feel free to ask any question you have. Angelo Gabriel, hello guys. Thanks, Angelo, to be here. Thanks for coming. Okay, I'm here with Luciano. Maybe you cannot see Luciano. Luciano is right here. Luciano is our instructor for national markets, for Brazilian markets. I made this content with him. He helped me to do this content. We are going to do this training in July for the market of Brazil, and then we are going to have this training in Spanish, maybe the last week of July too. So if you have any question, or do you want to see one more time our training, or do you want to invite some of your collaborators to our training, then you can use that opportunity will be completely in Spanish, and will be better for me because it's my native language. So will be easy to me to do that training. Okay, let me open one more time here my computer. I'm going to, I don't know why normally this doesn't happen, but okay. Okay, this is what I need. Okay, I have here. I'm going to open the slides one more time. And this is what I want to show you. Just one more time here. I'm going to show you here. Okay, now can you see my screen? This is a flow that I have in my local network, and then I'm going to show you how can you use that script. Then you can go here in routing. You will do some click in routing, and you will select these scripts. And then I already have some script here, this max color number, and I'm going to show you how to create a new script. Okay, we are going to create a new script. I'm going to select new script. You have a little explanation of each one of these functions. You have pre-routing, post-routing, transfer, post-call, and you have another one, zip info, and this is related with the zip info of the call, the zip information. You have here, you have also help, so you can check what can you do in with these functions that is related with this is maybe some of these are Lua functions, some other are our own functions that we create in order to manipulate the numbers. But we can do something like a script example. I'm going to take this script example. It's a little different from pre-routing. We can analyze too this pre-routing. I'm going to check this, and then I'm going to take this pre-routing. So I'm going to select everything here. I'm going to delete, and now I'm going to put, this is my script. This is my script. So I have to use a number. I'm going to use this. It's going to be rejected. This will be my script. Rejected. And then I'm going to save. You have to check this helping information is very useful. Here in the zip info, for example, you will see this is something new. Wasn't in the wasn't in our documentation, but you have a few new commands that you can, new functions that you can use here. And I'm going to save, and once you have the script saved, you will appear here. And how you will use this, so in the moment you define your NAP, for example, this NAP, you are going to, this is going to be a pre-routing call that you will receive from your PBX. For example, this is our dialer, it's a PBX. So I'm going to edit my NAP once your NAP is created, or maybe you can create the NAP first and then select the script here. But you will find this field here that is routing scripts. So here you have to check and you have to select the routing script that you want. So you can select here rejected, and in this NAP, what is going to happen, you are going to save, you are going to apply, and now each time our flow receive a call from the PBX, from this void engine, he's going to execute the routing script before to do anything. Okay, I don't know if you know what I mean, but this is the part. Okay, I'm executing before to to look for the route, because I have the route here. I have the route in here. I don't know. I think I don't have any route here. I'm going to create a new route. Okay. I'm going to say okay outbound, and I'm going to create this. I'm going to put that project priority. Say okay, come from the PBX, goes to the SVC, the calling number. I'm going to use anything, whatever you send to me. I'm going to send the call. This means this, and then I'm not going to remap the the call, and then I'm going to let everything by default. And what's going to happen is that if the flow receive a call from this NAP PBX before he evaluates this route, he's going to run that script. Okay. Different will be if I say, okay, I'm going to NAP, I'm going to SVC, and I will select a different, okay, for example, most color, this masking color number. This is going to happen in our as a postscript. There will be a postscript, and this is going to be run in the SVC. So the SVC, before to send the call to the destination, he's going to execute that script that change the origin number in order to get a random origin number each time. Okay, for each code. So I can save this, and now I have a different logic compared with this kind of route that is powerful, is good for the 90% of the cases, but some contact center needs a little more. Okay, I have another level of customization. I need to interact with other elements, not only with zip elements. I need to interact with databases. I need to interact with web services. How can I do that with your platform? In that way, with the routing script, is the way you can do that. Okay, let me go back to the slides. I'm going to use here. Okay, we are far away from here. I think we are here. Post routing, post call, or routing. Okay, here. Okay, this was my last slide. And now we are going to talk about databases. And why we need to talk about databases? Because what happened with routing script and the way you see here until here is that maybe is okay, it's advanced, Miguel, could be advanced, but not advanced enough, because I need to do some queries to my databases, and then take automatic decisions related with that queries, with the answer of that queries. So the way we do that, and sometimes for some people is a matter of organization, is like I want to have everything in my database because I can control my database in a different way. I don't want to be like adding numbers in a script. And maybe it's an optimization way, because routing script is not that fast enough. And when you are going to contact web service could be a little tricky, because if your web service is not optimized, maybe you send a query via HTTP, and you send a JSON to web services, and the web services is not answering back fast. That call is going to be in our stack, our zip stack, for a time that the forward of the call doesn't depend of our flow. will be depends on the answer of these web services. In if these web services is taking more time that is that have to 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 take, then your operation will be slowed down, and that's something that you don't want. So databases could be a different approach, could be a faster approach. So is something that we gained in our last version. Is okay, the ability to connect an instance of a database that could be in the same server or it could be accessible via the network. So it could be in another server. Okay, this is my database server, and then the flow is going to connect to the database server via IP, and it's going to authenticate, and it's going to do all the connection, and then he's going to query that database, and he's going to write that database. But also, KHOMP let you to put a database, a local database in our flow. Obviously, this is going to affect, this could affect in a, I don't know if a critical way, but if you have a database access and your hardware where you install your flow is not powerful enough, will be a new load for the server. So you have to take care, because this is an option that we give you to that we give to all of you in order to implement very easily a database, but could change the game and works against your operation. So you have to take care of this. And then access to the database through the routing script, where it is possible to query multiple previously registered databases, obtain the results, and decide how the routing should proceed. Okay, this is the main goal of this feature. And how can I configure a database? I'm going to go back and I'm going to do this here. Let me take here. I'm going to, okay, this is a new one. Okay, I can do this and I can go here. Okay, so you can go to system and you can go to here system and you can go to databases, and then you have to enable databases. For the, by default it's coming here that disable. You have to enable database, you have to add a new database, and then you can have two options. You can have a local database or a remote database. If you are going to use a remote database, you will use this server IP, server port, name of the database, username, this is for authentication, username and password, and concurrent connection. This is information you have to use in order to connect a Postgres SQL database, a remote one. So if you check here in local, everything changed, the form changed. Now you only have to specify the name of the database and the concurrent connections. Obviously you have to identify the database. So this is very important. These are different names of the database. Once is going to only identify the database, and the other is going to be used for queries. So you have to take care of this. So I'm not going to create a database now, but I just want to show you how to create it. You have another option that is SQLite 3, and this is even more simple. It's like you only have to put a database connection and the name of the database. So it's very easy to create a local database, or if you want to connect a remote one, it's very easy to. Is a few of parameters and you will be with your database connected. So going back to this is the same. This is I show you in real time. With live I made that. So what's going to happen once you have your database? if you are going to use your local or remote database to storage the CDR, your cal data report, I'm going back, I'm going to show you. The CDR is this one. This is our CDR. This is completely customized. It's based in plain text, and you can put all these you see here. This is by default what our CDR brings, but you can customize everything. You can go here and say, okay, I want to say we saw leg B, origin B address in one script. Okay, this is calling party number, outgoing channel. Then you have some documentation here, and this worked really well because this everything here is drag and drop. So you can come here, and you obviously you have to take care of the columns and everything, all the characters. Okay, I'm going to use here build sec, and anything you need in your CDR, you are going to use it here. You are going to put it here, and then you can customize to your needs this CDR. But this CDR is going to be hosted, or is going to be storage locally in our CDR. This moment I don't have anything because this is a new virtual SVC. I didn't make calls. You won't see anything, but you will have a list of each day. You will have a list of different CDRs. But maybe you don't want you want to manage this CDR in a different way, and that different way is a database. It's okay. You can come here. You can go to routing. You can bring here system database. You can create your database. You can say, okay, I want to storage our CDR. I want to record the CDR in that database, and then you can select what you want to be storage and which name name is going to be stored and will be the value in the CDR of this. So we have here different column types, different, it's like type of variables. So this is very important, very interesting to define which element of our CDR is going to be storage in your database. Okay. And what can I do with that databases? That's very important. Okay. Now I know that I can record all my all the fields in my CDR to a database. But what can I do with that? Okay, you can do more complex routing scripts and faster routing scripts, because this is not going to be, okay, this is not analyzing, okay, this is going to do a query to a database, and if the database is in a good health, the database is going to answer faster than a web services. So you can process locally in the script, you can do it faster, and then you can process more calls than waiting for a different server execute a script locally and then send to you an answer. So if you can handle locally, will be faster, obviously, and will be maybe safe. But we're here at KHOMP, we are like prepared to any scenario. If you want to have it your database locally, you can have it locally. If you want to have it remotely, will work also, so no problem. So in this example, the routing script is running when the call arrives in the flow. The script accesses to database name BD operadoras previously registered. The script performs a query looking for the column can dial. This is a very close to the last one I saw. It's like, okay, the rejected one, or the call that day. And then in the character table whose reference at the value equal to 18, if no value is found, routing is terminated, will return false. So we have this. If you don't get the database and you will return a false. And what happens in a pre-routing is that when return false is dropping the call, the flow is not going to send the call forward. Okay, so we have, I think, more than 1 hour in our training right now. Let me know if everything about this routing script is okay. Let me know which of you are developers, are like programmers, so maybe I know which one are like this. Maybe this is too basic for them. Could be very basic, because the routing scripts in Lua is very simple. It's like, okay, if I can make it more complex, but I think is complex enough to understand how to use routing scripts. Is we analyze very simple scenarios, but at the same time very common scenarios to a contact center. So if you have another scenario that you want to speak with us, just write it here in our chat. Okay, Miguel, I need something a little more customized. Okay, let us know with what you need, and then we are going to think how can we help to you to do this kind of scenarios. Okay, we're going to talk now about call and mission control. This is a very nice feature. This is something that I found very useful, because sometimes we don't have control of how many simultaneous calls we are receiving from our elements. So the flow can control, okay, maybe my dialer, some dialers doesn't have this the option to define how many concurrent calls I want to send, how many caps, call attempts per second I'm going to send. Then sometimes you have a dialer with a outbound campaign. You are going to play the campaign, you're going to start the campaign at the same, and the next second this dialer is going to send 80 calls to our flow or to the gateway. And sometimes the carrier can handle that amount of calls or of invites in 1 second. So it's very important to do some control of this, and flow can handle this kind of scenarios very well. We have call and mission control is a mechanism whose purpose is to limit the flow of call that pass through a voice system, avoiding the negative effects of an eventual system overload. We have two kind of limitations. We can limit simultaneous active calls and maximum call attempts per second. Each of these two limits are calculated separately for incoming and outgoing call. Effectively speaking, there are 4 different limits in a call and mission control implemented by Flow: maximum limit of simultaneous active call, outgoing and inbound, and maximum limit of caps, outgoing and inbound. So let me explain this figure here. If you see, each one of these boxes with colors have red, green, and blue are an emission control, are a call emission control. This is a politic. This is a politic that was defined in our flow, and we have different SVCs with different carriers. And then, for example, Oi is a common carrier here in Brazil. It's going to limit, for example, okay, I'm going to limit to 1,000 active call simultaneous and the maximum of 50 caps. So if this flow sends in this to these SVCs more than, no matter how many calls have the SVC1, if you sum the SVC1 and the SVC2 the calls that is forwarding via these SVCs can be superior than mil active calls. So how can I program this? How can I control this? In this scenario, Flow have two possible outbound naps for each of the three operators. A call that must be routed to OI, for example, can have both different routes. It can go to SVC1 OI, or can be go this call could be go to SVC2 as an outgoing nap. Therefore, the cap policy that would regulate the limit imposed by the OI operator must take into account the calls that pass through these two naps. Then call admission control is going to count the calls in these two naps in order to limit in no to avoid the case that maybe you have more than 1,000 calls. Some operators, some carriers are very I don't know how to say it. It's like they take charge. It's going to charge you more money if you do more than a number of calls. So if you want to improve your control, this is a very good way to improve that. Having shared cap policies configured as in figure, an eventual new call that leave NAP, for example, will only be approved in the following circumstance. If the sum of NAPs SVC1 OI and SVC2 OI has a number of active calls less than 1,000 and a cap less than 50. And how I define that, I'm going here and I'm going to show you how can I define that. I can create a routing here in system. In routing, I can create a shortcut. And how it works. This is the name of the call admission control policy. This is the incoming call limitation. You are going to put how many simultaneous calls you are going to control for incoming, and how many caps are you going to control for incoming calls too, and will be the same for outgoing calls. Then you will select which naps will be in this call admission control in order to calculate the sum of simultaneous calls. So I'm going to select, here is like, it's very easy. You are going to select the naps and you are going to send it to the right in order to select. After this, you are going to save the call admission control, and now you are implementing some limitations for incoming and outgoing calls. Going back to this part, this is a very interesting part because if you go to Insight, you can see in this pie chart, you are going to see everything you normally see in the Insight. It's a lot of information, and now you have this yellow portion of this pie chart, and in this portion you will see, okay, I have different kind of call admission control. What this mean? This is the calls that the call admission control drop because was doing a violation of simultaneous calls or the limitation of caps. So this is a very good way to implement this in order to avoid, obviously, all the problems of and negative impacts of system overload. Let me know if you have any question about this call admission control. I'm going to the next subject, that is mean opinion scorer, MOS. This is something very interesting because MOS is all related with call quality. So that's something that is really important because I saw so many contact centers before that they only think in price. Okay, I want to have a really cheap minute, and my operation costs related with the telephone chargers is going to reduce. But if you have a top quality contact center, you think you have to measure if maybe this this really cheap carrier or telephone provider maybe is maybe you are losing clients or customers because you are not offering a good quality. So this mean opinion score is a good way to know and to benchmark if your carrier or maybe even a services internal services is going well, is working the right way. Then let me explain a little more about mean opinion score. Is a qualification between 1 and 5. So imagine that is a number, could be like, okay, this call quality in my leg, my conversational quality, media sent by flow, or look at that. It's very easy, it's very too interesting to see. It's like, okay, you have a conversational quality, it's the media sent by the flow, we call CQ, it's conversation quality, and you will have a listening quality that is the media received by the flow. So if you have a dialer and you want to see, okay, I want to see the quality, I can analyze the leg of LQ. Okay, I'm receiving from that dialer this quality, and I'm sending this quality to that dialer. At the same time, you have the same for your carrier or for your SVC, for your gateway. You're going to receive, okay, I want to see the listening quality. What is the quality of the media that I'm receiving from this element, and what is the conversational quality, that is the quality of what the flow sends to this element. So take that in mind, keep that in mind. Then how can I use this in a practical ways? This, okay, Miguel, and obviously you at KHOMP with the flow, you are registering this quality, but in practical terms, what this means, and what this means that you can take automatic actions, routing actions, in order to automatize some routing things to avoid to have a bad quality in your code. This is very important when you have like a BPO business, a business process outsourcing. So you have a contact center, you are getting paid for calling people, and then you have to maintain a good quality, because the good quality in audio is a good experience for, is the first part of the experience in a call with your customer, so you can provide a bad quality audio. So this is going to be registered as at the CDR. It's going to be, you will see here, you can see these parameters, the most fields that can be included in the CDR. Most of the media sent to the call source, this is the kind of, this is the name of that parameter in the CDR. Let A, most LQ, most media must receive it from call source. And you have let B, most CQ, and let B, most LQ. You are going to measure the LQ and the CQ of each of your legs in your call. And now you can do something like, okay, I want to send that most information to another element in that network, in order to that element knows what is the quality I'm receiving and I'm watching. So if you want to do, you can do that for so many elements. You can send it, but obviously it's going to depend of that element is going to handle that kind of information. So you can enable here, you can enable the remote MOS, and once you enable this, you can use it as a customized header. And I'm going to use that MOS explanation to explain now the customized headers that doesn't only work for MOS, but so many headers you want to improve, you want to enrich your signaling and sending information to the other SIP elements. And now you can activate these SIP headers. You have to enable this checkbox, and you can send things like this: custom SIP headers. And these custom SIP headers could send also mean, opinion, score attributes that is recorded in the CDR. You have to put it here, which is the name, which is going to be sent, and then you are going to save in the SIP info of the call. This information is going to be send it to the other part of the SIP communication. So this is a very good way to send, for example, if you want to send, you have different elements that take care of different part of the call in your contact center. So you want to sell the ID number of your client that he already was asked to digit in their phone, so he already digited, and then you are going to send this in all your SIP elements, in your all other SIP elements. So this is a very good way to do that. Okay, and now we are going to, obviously, if once is in the MOS is here in your CDR, you can run scripts and you can do whatever you want with pre-routing functions, with post-routing function, with post-call function. In all these actions, evaluating the numbers of these parameters you register in the CDR. Okay, and now you have the SIP rep call recording. This is a new protocol that we I think in 2019 we put here in our flow. So this is a protocol that was created for interaction between recorders and voice engines. So you will have something like a session recording client and a session recording server. And this is very useful. I think this protocol is supported right now, but the big names of that business, like SIP, like I remember Redbox, I remember Nice. There is another platform that is OREX. All these platforms works with SIPREC. And then SIPREC is very important because he's going to say we have different kind of recording, but this recording types options that we have, some others are smarter than others. You have passive recording, active recording, but with SIPREC you have all the metadata that is embedded in the call, and you are going to send that to the server, and then the server, once you need that call to recover the audio, you are going to have more parameters in order to find that call with more in a accurate way. So you can do it faster, you can do it better, and you have everything you need to have to register that call and record that audio. So I remember something in a client in Bogota that prefers to drop a call if he knows that call is not recording, hasn't been recording. He prefers that drop the call. So okay, drop the call. because they can be, you have like this kind of organization, like financial organization, have a lot of audit, and if they don't have an audio recording and someone, a customer, is claiming that they didn't receive a call, or they didn't say something, and or they request for the recording audio, if the bank or the financial institution doesn't have that, the penalty is big. It's something really big. Then sometimes they prefer to drop the call if they are not sure that the call is being recording. So this is a good way. If you want to do this kind of policy, it's very easy to do that in Flow, because Flow is going to interact with this server, and then you are going to put all these recorders. All what we put here as a grabador is a recorder, different IPs. Then you are going to control the call via ziprec, and then you are going to use an identifier, session identifier. So at the end, what happens is that you can select here in the roads. Once you add the servers, you can select which server is going to record that call, and the Flow can interact directly with that zip recorder, and the Flow is going to add new new information to the CDR. And this session control information could be something like zip rec start recording, informs that the zip rec session must be started after processing the function, inform that the zip rec session must be ended after processing the function, the case zip rec stop recording. So you can control that call and you can control all the zip rec sessions via Flow, interacting with the zip rec server. And then you can change the behavior of previously registered zip rec servers, giving much more flexibility when recording. For this, several variables are available for use and control of session. The control zip rec sessions, you must activate the control zip rec call manually option on the zip rec server in question. You have more elements you can control, like participant and stations. You have some script in order to see how they can interoperate. And this is all. This is what I bring to you. I'm going to change my camera. Just give me a moment. And I want to go back to I want to see if you have any other question. This is the content that I bring you. Is just a few of what can we do here with our Flow. Obviously, could be even more complex. And if you are a developer, if you are a programmer, you will know and understand how can you use all this script, how can you use all this connection to databases, how can you program your own web services in order to do whatever you want, or how can you use the most information to route a call and to drop a call. Okay, if this ziptron doesn't bring me a good quality of my call, I'm going to drop the call. I'm going to find another carrier. This is something that you can use it. You will do, for example, if you want to drop the call because the ziprec server doesn't confirm that it's recording the call, okay, I prefer to drop the call and not continue with this call, because will be worse if I forward the call, complete the call, and doesn't record the call. This kind of scenarios that are very common to contact centers. Now you can implement it with Flow, because it's a solution with a very powerful platform to do this kind of customizing very specific scenarios. So I want to say thanks to all of you. Sapien. Nice. My friends of Sapien in Medellin, thanks for being here, for being part of our training. I hope you enjoyed this training and found this training very useful for your work. And I'm going to show you, if you want to know a little more about our flow and scripts, you can go here, how I say, routing scripts, and you can see we have an internal documentation. You can see, okay, anything here. You will see function here, available call attributes, available SIRREG attributes, available zip info, and some script examples. And of course, if you have any other technical though, you can contact us via academy at khomp.com, or you can contact our support team directly if you want to. If you have your own flow, okay, I need to think how to implement a customization scenario. You can contact our support team, and we are be happy to help you to improve your the performance of your contact center. So if you need anything related with sales and commercial, we have our friend Igor that is here too. So you can contact Igor for prices, for commercial conditions, anything you need to know about our licensing. Igor is the best person to do that. Okay. One more time, I'm happy to have you here. I'm Miguel Celis. If you need to contact me, miguel@khomp.com. And see you the next time in our next training. We're going to do a training of insight. That is the last part of this Manager One series of training. We are going to take 2 hours to talk about insight and how can you use insight and all the KPIs of insight to take decisions to improve your routing at real time. How can you consult the database in the insight, and now you can bring that to the flow and take some decisions. That is something that we are going to use for the next content in the next session of insight training. So one more time, thanks for being here. I'm really happy to have you here today. Thanks for your time, and see you in the next trainings. Have a good week. Bye bye to everyone. Ciao, ciao.